Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll start. Screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Last time we have started with third unit. We've seen some part. Even we have gone for the basic of knowledge, representation, and reasoning. Then we have seen foundation, simple basic things. Then how we can represent and reason using a logic, and inside that prediction logic. Right. Here we are. Next thing is regarding the ontology and related objects, relations, event, action, time, and space, and first order logic, and how we can calculate situation. So these things we'll see now. Hope I'm loud and clear and screen is visible. We have seen what is mean by ontology, right? Ontology means whatever there it is exists right now. What exactly it contains and how we can express it. Yes, we can express ontology. Ontology includes the categories, measures, the objects and composite objects, time, space, changes you made, events, processes, physical objects, substances, mental objects, and beliefs. All these things are represented as an ontology. Ontology means that, as we have said, whatever is exist, we can expressing it. That is ontology. And basically, it includes, as we have seen, it includes categories, measures, composite objects, time, space, events, changes, versionings, processes, physical objects, mental objects, beliefs, whatever we have done, all these things. And we can express those. So we'll see one by one what is meant by category and all the stuff. KR. We've seen KR, knowledge representation. KR and R, knowledge representation and reasoning. Right. So KR requires the organization of objects into the categories. Last time we have seen how to create a category. Category means, for example, if we take animal as a category, so all the animals will be the objects of that category, right? If I say cat, cat is an object, real world entity, which is present, and we can also say it is a physical entity, right? So cat is categorized in animal, right? So this is how we can organize the objects as per their categories. And here we require the interaction at the level of the objects and reasoning at the level of the categories, that why this object is categorized into a particular category. Once we identify category of an object, we can define, we can measure the properties. We can list all the properties which animal as a category should have and whether those are fitting. For example, if I say cat has a four legs, right? Cow also has a four legs. Dog also has a four legs. Like this. So we have to define those categories and define what properties it should have and whether it should those properties are present, and we can measure it. And this is how we can improve or represent a knowledge.
For example, if I say as a knowledge, computer identified that if it is a four legs, if any object has a four legs, we can say it is animal, right? So table also have a four legs if we identify, and cat also has a four legs. So cat and table are same. What is your answer? Hope I am audible, loud and clear. Anybody will answer me?
Yes, sir.
So is there any difference between these two?
Yes.
Now, as you are present, I am marking your attendance. I am considering. So this will be your final attendance. Those who are present. What happens? Somebody enters in the meeting at end, or at start they present, they leave and then come back and then join. So I'm, as per your present, I can see the roll numbers and names. So 1 to 5 are present. I have marked. Okay, this is how I am going to count the attendance. Remember. So as a computer, I am saying as a machine, I do know the knowledge that if I do have a four legs, I do have a four legs, then I can say it is the animal category. But I am saying that table also have a four legs. Cat also has a four legs. So cat and table both are animal?
No, sir.
No, absolutely right. No. Then that's why we should have the category and their properties and we should measure it. And we require for that purpose the interactions and reasoning at the level of the category. So we give the reason why cat is added as animal because, right? Why table is not added in the category of animal reason. So that is the reasoning. So once machine knows that due to this reason we cannot include table as an animal. Yeah, that is the knowledge. Whenever there is object, definitely it will be counted as a physical entity, physical object as a table and physical object as a cat. But cat is also included as animal category, which table doesn't have because it does not carry those properties. Right. So this is how we should identify and we should represent. So we use objects and their categories to represent. And that's why we say that categories play a role in prediction about objects. If I know category, I can predict based on the properties of that object whether the object belong to the animal category or physical entity category. Right. So we can say category is equal to set of its members. Right. Animal set is there. All the animals are members of that set. And we can say animal as a category. So it is equal to the set of its members. So this is how we can identify category and object. We can represent the categories and their related set of members as an object. So relation, now category, we know what is meant by category right now. Yes, everybody clear? Now next is relation. We are organizing the category right now. So relation is equal to inheritance, we are saying. We'll take a example of the same. So we are saying all instances of food are edible. All instances of food are edible. Now, if we look at towards the fruit, fruit is a subclass of food, right? So fruit, if I say, is a subclass of food. So we can consume fruit as a food, right? That's why we are saying that fruit is subclass of food. Hope all of you are with me. I am loud and clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. 11, 14, 15, 17 present. 11. Right. So what we are saying that We are saying that all instances of food are edible, and fruit which we can consume as a food is a subclass of food. Now we consider apples. Apples, again, apple as a fruit is subclass of fruit, right? So apples is a subclass of fruit. And what we are saying, all instances are food of food are edible. As apple is a subclass of fruit and fruit is a subclass of food, I can say apple is edible. Apple is edible. So this is how we are showing the relationship. And that's why we are saying inheritance. So food is a parent, fruit is a child of that parent, and apple is a child of fruit. So this is how they are at different levels. Child mean to say included. So I can say apple is a fruit, and fruit acts as a food, right? Again, we can divide the category. Those are subclasses, right? If I say even shape, I can measure shape of that property. Apple is always almost like round, right? If I say all round and color, red color, though it is a property, so I can measure, I can define those categories in depth so that I can have a knowledge. All round shape substances are apples. I cannot say like that, right? So that's why I should go for the properties and I should define or represent a relation. So this is how we are represented relation. And here we need to define those at hierarchical order taxonomies. So we'll see. So when we represent those as a taxonomy or categories, we can say it is a first order logic, FOL, and categories. So first order logic and categories, how we can represent it. Now we'll see now.
Examples also are included. Hope the slides are visible. '18, 19, 20. Object, we are saying an object is a member of category. An object is member of a category. You have seen, no? Category is equal to set of its members. If there is a category animal, the cat will be a set of that, yes, animal. So it is a member, cat is a member of that set. Similarly, we represent here an object is a member of category. For example, we are representing it as a first order logic, FOL. So you can see here below it is given member of. Now we are saying BB, basketballs. So there is a set of balls and we are representing basketballs. So member of. So there is a category balls. Now a category is a subclass of another category. So we are saying BB is a basketball. So BB is a member of basketball category. Now we are saying that category is subclass of another category. So basketball is a subclass of another category and that is a balls. So we are represented subset of. So basketball is a subset of balls category and BB is a basketball. So BB is a member of basketball category. Basketball is subset of balls category. Are you there? Hope your example is clear to you. Yes? Anybody have any doubt up to this? So how to represent in first order logic also there is example which is represented in the slides by using brown color, I guess. If somebody can identify it as a red color, no problem. For me, it is a brown. Okay, shall we go ahead? Now, all members of category have some properties, right? That is what we are saying. So, all members of a particular category will have some properties. So, all we are saying member of X. Suppose X is a member of basketball and it is having properties, so which implies. So, we are representing this here. Logics. You have seen, no, yesterday? Preposition logics. So we are representing those in form of formula or as a knowledge representation. So this is how we are saying. So all members. So this device A is called all members of basketball. For example, X we have taken. Property is round. So X is round in. So basketballs are round and X is also round. So all members of this category, basketball, will be round in shape. Again, all members of the category we can categorize, we can recognize by other some properties also. So basketball, now we are saying as member of X, X is a basketball member. So X is a basketball, which will have an orange color, which will be round in shape and its diameter is 9.5 inch. And as basketball belongs to the balls, X as a member of basketball also belongs to the balls. So that's why we are saying all members. And here you can say there is an and. So the members, when we say basketball, it should have orange color, compulsory. It means it is mandatory. Round shape, diameter should be 9.5 and it should be a member of balls, right, as a basketball. For example, suppose there is one more ball which is having orange color. It is also round in shape and diameter is 1.5. As it is not matching, it means it does not have this property. Yeah, that subject can be member of balls, but it cannot be the member of basketball. That's why we have written here, right? Basketball should have orange in color, round in shape, diameter should be 9.5 inch. More than or lesser than that definitely will lead as a another property and its class can be different, but yeah, its main class or subclass will be balls. So we are representing X as basketball as a balls category. So we can define like this. So as a knowledge, when I identify there is a round shaped ball and it is in orange color and its diameter is 9.5 inch, yes, I can represent that X as a basketball. I will really identify at any time if I know these are the properties. At other side, I am saying that we can represent basketball as these properties, right? So hope you are clear. First order logic, how we are representing. Next is the category as a whole has some properties. So member of, so we take another example. Domesticated species. Domesticated means which we can keep at our homes, right? Domestic level. पाळू शकतो आपण. So sheep is a member of domesticated species, right? Goat will also have domesticated species. So we can say category as a whole, domesticated species can have some properties. But when we go for a sub categories, definitely though their properties will be different, and we can, based on the identified properties, we can name it that which class it belongs. Right? Hope you are clear. Any doubt up to this? We can represent these relations between categories. Now we identify how we can define category, what will be a relation, what is the object, what is a member, and how to represent it using first order logic. And we can show the relationship also. Two or more categories are disjoint if they have no members in common. जर दोन वेगवेगळ्या कॅटेगरीज असतील आणि त्यांच्यात कोणताही एक मेंबर कॉमन नसेल तर ते आपण सांगू शकतो की दे आर डिसजॉइंट, दे आर नॉट जॉइंट. And we can represent by using this formula. You can see here disjoint of S, bidirectional implication, all C1 comma C2, C1 belongs to S and C2 belongs to S and C1 is not equal to C2 implies intersection C1 C2 which is equal to set. Now example we have given animals and vegetables. So these two categories, more than one category, are disjoint. Vegetables and animals, they don't have common any member. Yeah, some properties they can have, but not all. Hope you understand this. So how to represent relation between categories? So we can represent relation between categories using disjoint. So there is example disjoint animals and vegetables. So there is nothing common between as a member of animal and as a member of vegetables. If I consider cat as animal and brinjal as vegetable, there is no common things between them. So we can say there is difference between the animal category and vegetable category. So we can represent it as a relation disjoint. Set of S categories constitutes an exhaustive decomposition of a category C if all members of the set C are covered by categories in S. So you see example directly, you can understand the meaning of this. We can represent using, again as I said, first order logic or a prediction logic, propositional logic, or as a logic. For example, ED comma SC, bidirectional implication. All I belongs to C implies reverse C now exists, there exists C2 CV C1 sorry C2 C2 belongs to S and I belongs to C2. E for exist. So we'll see example directly, it will be better. Exhaustive decomposition. Americans, Canadians, Mexicans are belongs to the category North Americans. So if I consider as a North America will cover the people who live in the Canada, people who live in the American or America or Mexico. So those people who are living in the Mexico will be called as Mexicans. As Mexico comes in the North America region, so those are North Americans. Canadians, Americans. Like if I consider Pakistanis and Indians and Chinese belong to the Asia, right? So Asia as an area covers all these three countries. So we can say the person from the India also as an Asian. The person from Pakistan also we can say it is an Asian. And from China also we can say it is Asian. Similar example, the person from America can be counted as North American. Person in the Canada can be counted as a North American, like this. So this we can say exhaustive decomposition. So we can use this kind of relations between the categories to represent. So there can be a partition of these categories. Yes. So we can represent the partition. Persons we are saying, right? So persons include again. So we are representing partition between them, male and female. So all males, all females will be persons, but Again, when we say males and females, again, these are the, again, separate different categories. And we can represent relations, also we can represent partition. So partition is a disjoint exhaustive decomposition. Disjoint, males are different, females are different, but both can be counted as a people, person, right? As an again animal, but there is a disjoint, so we can represent disjoint. How male and females are different, how North Americans and Asians are different. Yes, so there is a partition. I hope you understand the partition now. Disjoint we understood, relation we understood, partition we are understanding right now. So partition we are saying that is a disjoint exhaustive decomposition, right? So categories can be defined by providing necessary and sufficient conditions for membership. Now we are saying bachelors, all exist. Bachelors. So bachelors will be counted as males, adult, and unmarried. Then bachelor. If it is married, definitely it will be not counted as a bachelor. That's why we are saying that we define by providing necessary and sufficient conditions for the membership of that set. And if anybody is a member of that set, definitely that set will be called as a particular category. Right? Any doubt up to this? Yes?
Well,
21.
yes, sir.
Okay, up to 25, all present. Then 27, 28, 29, 30. 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay. Good. Next, we'll move on. Natural kinds. Many categories have no clear-cut definition. So we are saying natural categories. Many categories have no clear-cut definitions. Like we can define cat as like that, as an animal. But there will be a many in the world, in the real world entity, you can say, there will be many such objects which will be, we cannot include in particular categories because it doesn't have a clear-cut definitions. Chair, bush, book, tomatoes. So we are saying sometimes green, red, yellow, black, mostly round. When we can include all this, but there is no clear-cut idea. Sometimes tomatoes and potatoes will have a similar shape, almost similar shape. Then what to do? So there is one solution. So we define category as a typical. So the categories which have no clear-cut definitions, we can give the name to them as a typical. So the any X belongs to typical tomatoes if it have a red or spherical we are saying shape. Mostly round because tomatoes mostly round we are saying. Potatoes mostly oval. Can I say like that? Or mostly round? So that's why those categories which have not clear-cut ideas, not clear-cut definitions, we include them as a typical. And we can say these are the natural categories, natural kind of categories. Yes, we can write down the useful facts about those categories without providing exact definitions. That is what we did for tomatoes. So we are saying tomatoes, sometimes green, sometimes those are red, sometimes those are having yellow or some black. Mostly they are round. Mostly. So like this. So we can provide useful facts about that category rather than definitions. Physical compositions. Now, there can be scenarios where one object can be part of many categories, many other things. So we are saying Bucharest, name of city, is part of Romania. Romania country. So how one object can be part of another? So when I say Bucharest, it can be have a part of country, Romania. Some part of Romania is comes under the Eastern Europe. Yes. And part of, so Eastern Europe is part of Europe. Right? Yes. So one object can be counted in many parts. So part of predicate. So part of prediction, whatever we are making, is a transitive. It is not reflexive, irreflexive. So it is a transitive which we can transit. So we can infer that part of Bucharest belongs to the Europe. So we are making it transitive. Transitive property. So Bucharest is in Europe. Why? Because Bucharest comes in Romania, and Romania is situated in Eastern Europe. And Eastern Europe is counted as a Europe. Right? So many objects will be there, which will be part of another categories or another, you can say, set of members. We can represent those often characterized by structural relations among parts. So this is the formula. No need to go in the depth. This is just an example. Now how we can measure? Measurements. Yes, we can measure it. Objects, if we take real world entities, any object will have height, will have a mass, will have cost, or many values which we can assign our measures. Typical reddish color of tomatoes. Yes, we can measure it. So object as a tomato will have that value. Yes, definitely some measures will have no scale. Beauty. We cannot measure beauty. Difficulty. We cannot measure difficult. How difficult AI subject it is. We cannot measure it, right? Milk, we can measure. It is in 2 liter, 3 liter or something like that. Beauty, can anybody measure beauty? Can anybody measure difficulty? There will be something, some measures, which we can't give a scale to it. But yeah, there will be some measures where we can give the scale, and based on the scale, we can identify that this object will have this. If we compare animal as a dog, animal as an elephant, so as an object, dog will have a particular height. We can say this much height. Yes, definitely in those ranges, all those objects of animal category will be dog. And when we consider as a elephant, definitely its height will be different, which we can measure as a particular benchmark value. Right. And one more aspect of measure, that they are orderable. Yes, they are orderable. Don't care about the actual numbers. For example, we can consider apple. How much delicious it is. Yes, we can't have a scale of that delicious. But we can say more delicious, less delicious. 0.9, more delicious. 0.9 value. 0.1, lesser delicious. Right? So we can represent measure in objects that will have particular properties which we can measure. Also, some measures which we cannot scale it, but yeah, we can represent it as a particular number, and we can say that if this number is there, then it is a lesser or minimal, If this number is there, this is a maximum or more. For example, that's where we said that apple is a delicious. If 0.9, we can say more delicious. 0.1, lesser delicious, like this. Hope I'm audible and making sense. Hope you are getting. So the number of terms which we understood. We understood the category, ontology, then set of members,
Relations, inheritance.
it defines a taxonomy, objects, so which is a member of category. Category is a subclass of another category. All members category have some properties. How we can represent them? Using first order logics. Relations, by using disjoint and exhaustive decomposition, we can represent relations between the categories. We can define the partition. Natural kinds, some categories we cannot have clear cut definitions, but yeah, we can write correct facts, useful facts about those categories rather than defining clear cut ideas. Physical decompositions also we can represent as a part of, where we can represent a property, transitive property. Measurements, we can measure the objects by using different you can say parts: height, mass, cost, width, color, many more things which we can consider depending on the object. Yeah, there will be some
Things which we cannot measure, but we can have a scale for that, or we can
define a particular range for that, and they are orderable.
we can define it like that.
For example, we have seen the apple. How much it is delicious, we cannot measure it, but yeah, we can say
More delicious, less delicious. Up to this part, anybody have any problem? Hope all of you are clear.
from 31 to 40, 31, 33, 34, 35, 31, 33, 34, 35, 37, 39. To 46, 48. 6, 48. Okay. Next thing. Actions, events, and situations. Knowledge base agent, we have learned in last lecture, right? So reasoning is outcome of action which are central to the knowledge base agent. Knowledge base agent, based on the environment, based on the knowledge base, defines the output, defines the actions, right? And those we can say those are reasonings. How we can keep track of locations in first order logic? Yes, we can. We can represent time by situation states which are resulting from execution of actions. Before execution of action, what was the situation, and after executing the action, what is the situation? We can represent those as a states, and also which defines automatically the situation, event, actions, and we can calculate it. For example, S0, S1. So S0 is the state before we take an action. And when we take an action, complete it, we can count it as another state, S1. So S1 is a forward action or forward event, like that.
So S0 state goes to the next forward manner, S1 from S1 to next state. This is how we can represent time by time situations and whatever actions we are defined, whether those are implemented using this knowledge base agent, and we can reason it. What is the difference between S1 and S0? Like this. Hope the slide is visible. So this is how we can define actions, define events and situations, and we can represent all those things using steps. So here S0 is shown. So S0 is the state where this is the situation. This was the scenario of all those things. When action is performed, next state represented. S1 represents, you can see in figures. So S1 is after performing one particular action, events and situations. This is how we can represent it. Actions are logical terms. Situations are also logical terms, which consist the initial situation 1 and all situations which are resulting from the action on the situation. जेवढे काय आपण ऍक्शन्स घेऊ त्याच्याप्रमाणे त्याचे प्रत्येकाचा रिझल्ट आपण डिफाइन करू शकतो. आणि इनिशियल सिच्युएशन जिथून सुरुवात झाली आणि प्रत्येक ऍक्शन नंतर कुठल्या कुठल्या स्टेट्स आल्या, या सगळ्यांचं कॉम्बिनेशन म्हणजे ऑल दिस विल रिप्रेझेंट ॲज अ सिच्युएशन. अँड व्हॉट इज ऍक्शन? ऍक्शन इज अ लॉजिकल टर्म. Fluents. Fluents are functions and predicates that vary from one situation to the next. So in one situation, what is a function and what is a prediction? We can represent it as a fluent. So holding G1 S0. So this is a fluent. Example is given. Situation, result A S. A is action and S will be the situation. Or on a particular situation, what action we have performed, that we can represent as a result. So result of action sequences are determined by individual actions. प्रत्येक ऍक्शनचा रिझल्ट काय होणार आहे आणि त्याचा सिक्वेन्स काय हे आपण ठरवू शकतो बेस्ड ऑन द each action. Individual means each action. If there are 3, 4 more than that. Projection task and SC. Agent should be able to deduce situation. Agent should be able to deduce the outcome of sequence of actions, and that is a projection of task. प्रत्येक टास्क इथे प्रोजेक्ट केले S0 to S1 to next. We can have planning task also. की आपण काय करणार आहे याचा सुद्धा त्या टास्कचं सुद्धा प्लॅनिंग असतो. सो फाइंड अ सिक्वेन्स दॅट अचीव्स अ डिझायरेबल इफेक्ट. हा इफेक्ट मिळवण्यासाठी I need to prepare a tea. So we can have a planning of that task. And when we perform each action, each action will be projected, and that is a project task. First we take a water, so that is a situation. First in a pot there is a water. When we add a tea powder, it changes the situation depending on the action. We have planned that we are going to prepare a tea like this. I'm just giving an example. So we can define those actions, we can define projection tasks, we can define planning tasks, and we represent each in form of situation task. So S0 is the initial situation and final result. S0 to next, we move forward S0. So there is a difference between two states. So we have moved forward. Next, turn right. See the figure and identify. Turn right. We have turned. Result is forward S0. So turn right from forward S0. So this was the situation. Forward S0 ह्या सिच्युएशन मधून आपल्याला राईट ला वळायचं आहे. मग ते झाल्यानंतर काय होईल हे रिप्रेझेंट केलंय युजिंग अ स्टेट. So here you can define action, you can define event and situation. Hope everybody is clear. फिगर्स, तिन्ही फिगर्स बघा व्यवस्थित. हा पर्सन लास्ट इथे आहे, ह्या कॉर्नर मधून तो पुढे जातो फॉरवर्ड, पुढच्या डायरेक्शनला. फॉरवर्ड गेल्यानंतर स्टेट बदलली,
सिच्युएशन बदलली आणि ती रिप्रेझेंट केली आपण ऍज अ रिझल्ट फॉरवर्ड S0. इनिशियल पासून कुठे आलो त्या दोन्ही स्टेट्स S0 तून फॉरवर्डला आलो आपण. आता फॉरवर्ड आल्यानंतर राईटला वळायचं आहे. फ्रॉम फॉरवर्ड S0 वी हॅव टू टर्न राईट. मग झाल्यानंतर काय होणार, ऍक्शन परफॉर्म झाल्यानंतर काय स्टेट आहे, दिस इज रिप्रेझेंटेड एज थर्ड फ्रेम. So first, second, and third frame. So this is how we can define actions, events, and situations. Any doubt up to this? We can even describe all the changes, right? Changes की possible आपण असं केल्यानंतर काय होणार आहे, पॉसिबिलिटी किंवा हे असं का करायचं आहे. सो दर इज अ प्रेडिक्शन, असं केल्यानंतर हे होईल. सो दर इज अ प्रेडिक्शन, पॉसिबिलिटी, ऑल वी कॅन डिफाइन and measure. So anybody have any doubt? Hope I am clear with the terms. So you are clear with the terms. Ontology, objects, categories, relations, events, actions, space, situation, time, first order logic, and how we can calculate situations, situation calculus, right? These are the terms which we have planned to cover and we have covered. So that's it from my side for today's lecture. We'll go to last part. Anybody have any doubt, they can ask. So, 50 present, 50, then 53, 54, 56, 53, 54, 56, 57, 59, 57, 9, then 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 62 to 66, 62 to 66. So that's it. This is the last attendance. Supriya, I was saying something. I haven't got it. Supriya. I haven't understood what is it no for. Okay, no doubt. Okay, good. So I've taken your attendance. As I said, roll number 1 to 5 present, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 11 present, 14 present, 15 present, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 present, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31 present, 33, 34, 35 present, 37 present, 39 present, 42 present, 46 present, 48 present, 50 present, 53 present, 54, 56, 57, 59 present, and 62, 63, 64, 65, 66 present. Others are absent. So this is what is the final attendance. Anybody's remained? कोणाचा रोल नंबर घेतला नाही असं आहे का कोणी? शेअर करतो मी, जस्ट अ मिनिट.
सर 55 सर.
55 आहे का तुम्ही?
हा आहे सर.
ओके, जस्ट अ मिनिट, आय अपडेट इट.
सर
शेअरच
12
करतो तुम्हाला.
सर 12
टॅब दिसते का?
आहे सर.
आता दिसते?
Yes, sir.
55. 7 तुम्ही नव्हता की सुरुवातीला ज्यावेळेस मी अटेंडन्स घेतली? ऑलरेडी सांगितलंय सगळ्यांना जे प्रेझेंट आहेत त्यांना की मी ज्यावेळेस अटेंडन्स घेणार आहे, जे समोर दिसत आहेत माझ्या पार्टिसिपेंट मध्ये त्यांचीच नावे ऍड करणार आहे. कुठं होतात तुम्ही? रोल नंबर 7. रोहित. नो.
सर
नव्हता तुम्ही. मी अटेंडन्स ऑलरेडी घेतली आहे. फक्त दाखवतो त्याचे
Sir, मी-
शेअर करतोय जे मी ऑलरेडी मार्क
सर
केलं.
11:20 ला join.
ज्यावेळेस मी अटेंडन्स घेतली त्यावेळेस हे लोक होते, त्यांना 1-1 केलंय मी. बाकीचे सगळे 0. सो टेक केअर.
that you should remain present. स्टार्टच्या 10 मिनिटात नाहीच घेतली मी अटेंडन्स. 7 रोल नंबर. मी अटेंडन्स केव्हा घेतली हे फक्त या लोकांना माहिती आहे जे प्रेझेंट होते. So that is the final attendance from my side. Okay. If any doubt you can ask. We'll stop here. You can continue your next lecture. Thank you. I'll leave the meeting.